Hi, in this video I want to bring back the naked overlocker to you to explain another feature that overlockers have, and this is differential feed. The differential feed is all about the feed dogs. On a regular sewing machine you have one set of feed dogs that sit underneath the foot there, and it pulls the fabric along, doesn't it? So the difference between the feed dogs on a sewing machine and on an overlocker is that you have two sets. So I'll bring you a bit closer so you can see what's going on. So remove the foot and I remove the needle plates. You can see there are two sets of feed dogs there. Now the differential feed here is on one. What happens is that these two work separately, they work independently of each other. If I have the differential speed set at 1, the feed dogs work together at the same speed or the same rate. So can you see? They just both go up, lift the fabric, move it back, bring it back down. Up, lift the fabric, go back and come back down. So that's what happens with the feed dogs. Now, if I increase the differential speed to 2, or the differential feed, what happens now is the feed dogs here in the front are going to change. So now can you see? They still go at the same height, both up, and they go down, but this one's going to move further. So it moves closer to me this time. And then it moves closer to the feed dogs at the back there, and it comes further. So it's traveling further than it did before. So what happens is it grabs more fabric and pushes it. It's the only way I can get that excited. It pushes it closer to those feed dogs faster. So there's more fabric being pushed than before when it was set at 1. So you're getting not twice as many. It's not quite as twice as many. You're getting 1.5 times as many pieces of fabric, bits of fabric towards it. So what happens is a lot of fabric's going. The feed dogs here aren't pushing it off fast enough. So what will happen is you'll get your gather. So go and watch the skirt video. I've shown you how to gather fabric. And what you need to do is increase the differential feed to 2. And it pushes the fabric faster. So you end up with a gathered piece of fabric. What happens if I do the opposite? So instead of going back to 1, we're going to go all the way down to half. And then turn the feet... and then turn the hand wheel. So now watch the feed dogs. They don't travel as far. So they're going less distance than they were when they were at 1, and much less than when they were at 2. So what happens is giving the next feed dogs less fabric than it can handle. So that can handle a lot more than that's actually giving. So what then happens is the fabric gets stretched because that's trying to yank it off there, but that's still over there. The fabric's still there. So the fabric ends up being stretched. And that's when you'll find your fabric curves off into one direction or off into the other direction, and then you end up with wavy lines. So it's one of those things people think it's your tension. It's not. It's your differential feed that gives you the bumps, or it goes off into different directions. Now, the only way we can prove that theory is by going on to a machine that's covered. So now I'm going to show you. I've got the machine set at factory settings, and I get a piece of cotton, and I put that through, press foot down. What I look for is the fabric to go straight back. So it needs to go straight back, not curve either way. And there we go. And you can test that by placing it on some lines on a mat and just seeing, 1, if your cutting's good, and 2, if your fabric has been moulded either left or right. So let's try setting our differential feed all the way up to 2. Now I've got another piece here of fabric. And if I put that, so with the differential feed set at 2, so that's the highest, and everything else is set the same, watch what happens. So remember, the feed dogs at the front seem to go further, and they're going to try and push more fabric than the back feed dogs can handle. So that's how you cause a gather, and I've made a gathered skirt which you can go and watch, and you'll use this method. Now it's tricky to show the differential feed being too low, so if I reduce that down to 0.7, it doesn't go down any lower. If I reduce it to 0.7, that's not much of a difference in it. There will be some stretch, but it's hard to show stretch on this fabric because it really just doesn't stretch. So here's some stretch fabric. There we go. So everything's at factory settings. If you want to create gathers, turn your differential feed right up. If you want stretch fabric, bring it right down. And otherwise, on just woven fabric, leave it at factory settings. So that's your differential feed. I hope that makes some sense to you. I hope it's helped you understand a little bit about what differential feed does and why it's there. It really does make a difference to use it.